Hello everyone. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude for the opportunity to present at the third Geotourism International Conference. I would also like to extend my appreciation to the organizer and everyone who has contributed to making this event possible. Allow me to briefly introduce our research team. My name is Igras Figran Antonio and Octavianus, and I am here together with my colleague Muhammad Inas Nimara. Together, we conduct a study entitled Visitor Management based on Tourism Carrying Capacity Analysis of the Cibodas Pangrango Hiking Trail, Mount Gede Pangrango National Park, Indonesia. Mount Gede Pangrango National Park is one of the most frequently visited conservation area in Indonesia. Over the past 3 years, visitor number have shown a significant and consistent increase from 10,980 visitors in 2022 to 61,794 visitors in 2024. This rapid growth raises concern about potential environment degradation, including trail erosion, waste accumulation, and overcrowding in certain areas. Previous studies have shown that a continuous rise in visitation may reduce destination quality and ecological integrity, especially within protected area. This research adopts a quantitative microspatial approach focusing on Cibodas Pangrango Hiking Trail within Mount Gede Pangrango National Park. The microspatial approach was selected because the hiking trail represents a distinct management unit with specific environmental and visitor use characteristics that differ from the park as a whole. Data collection involved several stages. First, field observation were conducted to collect primary data on length and area measured using a Garmin Montana GPS device. These measurements were used to determine the physical space available for hiking and camping activities. Second, visitor questionnaires were distributed to identify comfortable distance for hiking and camping, as well as to evaluate service quality and infrastructure condition. The questionnaires indicators were developed based on the Indonesian National Standard or SNE for hiking activity to ensure nationally consistent evaluation criteria. Data analysis followed 3 main stages according to Cifuentes 1992 model. The first one is physical carrying capacity. This stage measures the maximum number of visitors that can be physically accommodated in the area. The calculation incorporates comfortable distance, rotation factor, and a total available area for both hiking and camping. Next, the real carrying capacity adjusts the physical carrying capacity to reflect actual field condition by applying environmental correction factor. 3 correction factors were employed in this study. The first slope, calculated by multiplying slope length by its classification weight according to Minister of Agriculture decree, then dividing by the total trail length. And then rainfall, calculated using 5-year rainfall data obtained from the BMKG, identifying wet months with precipitation greater than 300 mm, which influence accessibility and visitor safety. The last one for correction factor is psychological comfort derived from visitor perception of comfort during group-based hiking and camping. And the last stage for this formula is effective carrying capacity to determine the effective visitor capacity by integrating management capacity into the model. This component reflects how well site management can sustain operation and visitor experience within ecological limits. Management capacity was assessed through 2 primary aspects: service quality and infrastructure adequacy, both evaluated by visitor. The resulting management coefficient or management capacity was then multiplied by the real carrying capacity value to obtain the effective carrying capacity. The analysis revealed that physical carrying capacity of the Cibodas Pangrango Hiking Trail reached approximately 19,523 visitors per day. This figure represents the theoretical maximum capacity of the site, assuming there are no environmental or managerial limitations. However, in reality, such a number is impractical as on-site conditions are far more complex and influenced by multiple ecological and social factors.
Okay, next, to make our estimation more realistic, we didn't stop at the numbers. We took one step further and adjusted the calculation using three environmental correction factors: slope, rainfall, and psychological comfort. First, the slope factor, valued at 0.63, reflects the presence of steep sections along the trail. The slopes are not just physically demanding, they also increase the risk of erosion, which is why they deserve special consideration. Second, we included the rainfall factor with a value of 0.85. This number came from 5 years of BMKG data, focusing especially on the months when rainfall exceeds 300 millimeters. Heavy rain can limit accessibility and affect the safety of visitors, so it's important that we account for it. And third, we look at psychological comfort, which turned out to have the lowest value, 0.36. This factor is based on how comfortable visitors feel when hiking or camping in groups. It reminds us that social density can shape the quality of experience just as much as physical conditions. After applying all three factors, the RCC dropped to around 3,763 visitors per day. This figure gives us more honest picture of the trail's actual capacity, not just in number, but in terms of real lived experience on the ground. Now, in the final stage, we look beyond nature and into management performance, because sustainability doesn't only depend on the environment, but also on how well the site is managed. We introduced what we call the management coefficient, a number that reflects how visitors perceive surface quality and infrastructure. The result was 0.70, meaning that management performance is generally good, even though there's still room to improve, especially in maintaining facilities and streamlining services systems. When we multiply this coefficient with the real carrying capacity, we get what's known as the effective carrying capacity, or ECC, and this number, 2,634 visitors per day. It tells us how many people in the site can safely accommodate under current condition. Now, here comes the interesting part. When we compare this figure with the actual visitation in 2024, which averages only 229 visitors per day, we see that the trail is operating far below its ecological limit. In other words, Mount Gede Pangrango is still very much within its safe and sustainable zone. This result is encouraging. It means that, at least for now, nature and tourism are in balance. It is also shows how powerful the Cifuentes model can be. It combining environmental realities and management capacity into a single framework that supports truly sustainable tourism. So what does this mean for us going forward? This finding provide an empirical foundation for park managers to take concrete action, to set visitor quotas, to adopt online reservation system, and to ensure continuous monitoring of environmental condition. In the end, carrying capacity analysis is not just a mathematical exercise, it's a strategic management tool, a compass that guides us toward harmony between conservation and tourism. With accurate data, adaptive policies, and consistent collaboration, Mount Gede Pangrango National Park can become a national example of responsible and regenerative tourism management.
Okay, to conclude, I would like to reaffirm that tourism management in conservation areas should not solely aim to increase visitation number, but must also respect ecological threshold and managerial capacity. Through carrying capacity analysis, we are able to determine how tourism activities can be conducted responsibly. I firmly believe that through collaboration between academic, destination manager, and policymaker, the concept of carrying capacity can be implemented more effectively to ensure responsible and sustainable nature-based tourism management. At this moment, I would also like to express my sincere gratitude to my academic supervisor, to the Mount Gede Pangrango National Park Authority for their valuable support and research permission, and to all individuals and institutions who contribute to this study. Finally, I would like to extend my deepest thanks to the organizing committee of the Third Geotourism International Conference for this opportunity, and all listeners for your kind attention throughout this presentation. I truly hope that this research may provide valuable insight, spark meaningful discussion, and inspire better management practice for sustainable ecotourism in the future. Thank you very much.